Good morning, friends. It is Monday, April the 13th, and I hope you had a good Easter, and mine looked very different than normally, but we got through, and he is risen. So, okay, what we want to do is jump back into chapter 4 and section 4 today, and to kind of give you a heads up, let me get my calendar. We have 9 days before your final. Okay, so 9 days of instruction before your final. So two of those will be review and a test, and then we'll also review for the final. So just keep that into perspective. 9 days, and you will be done with this. So make sure and stick with me. So be sure that you are checking Blackboard. I'm posting a week at a glance to kind of for you to know what's going on. So please make sure that you are staying up to date. I'm to a point where I'm not reopening quizzes. So if you miss a quiz, you miss a quiz. We are into this, and so please make sure you are up to date. So you will have one quiz this week, and it will be posted on Friday. Okay, so I want to get into section 4. Properties of logs. And so what we're working up to today is basically what we're going to do in 4.5. Today we're learning properties that we're going to end up using to be able to solve logarithms and exponentials. So today we want to focus on log properties, okay? And what we do with these log properties is you can expand them, and if you expand them, you're going from the left-hand side of the property to the right-hand side. So you're going from one single log to multiple logs. Now, if you're condensing, and this is the one we'll use more when we get into section 5. If you're condensing, that means you are on the right-hand side of the equal sign and you're moving to the left. So you're condensing down to one single logarithm. So we have a multiplication property, we have a division property, and then we have a power property. Now, if you'll notice there's two sets written here, one typed and one written. This works for natural logs also. So remember, you have log base B, or you have natural log. And remember, natural log is log base E, but it's written as natural log. Okay, so our power property works for both of these. So with the power property, or let me go back. So this is our multiplication property. And our multiplication property says is if I have two things being multiplied within a log, I can expand this to take the log of m plus the log of n. So multiplication expands with addition. Addition condenses with multiplication. This is our division property. So if I have the log of a division, division expands with subtraction. Subtraction condenses with division. Okay, and then between those, we have our power property. And what the power property says is that if you have a log with a base raised to a power, so m to the p power, then you can bring that power down in front of your log. And we will use that quite a bit throughout the rest of the week when we get into section 5. Okay, so let's try this. So to expand, so this is kind of the steps I take. To expand, so you take your division back to subtraction, you take your multiplication to addition, you bring down your powers, and apparently we're going to cut some concrete outside my window, and it's going to get, maybe you can hear that, I don't know, and then simplify. So here I have log base 3 of x times x plus y. And so I have multiplication going on here. Don't distribute, just look at the multiplication operation here. And so I have x, so multiplication, so log base 3 of x plus log base 3 of x plus y. So here there's nothing to do with x plus y, okay? This is not a very good example to start with, but there's nothing to do with the x plus y, it just stays. Okay, let's try another one. So I've tried off to the side to put some helpful hints. So the first one, a log of, and again, if there's not a base, it's an understood base 10. So log of 100 divided by x divided by xy cubed. So I first want to do subtraction. So division to subtraction. So log of the top minus log of the bottom. And then I want to do my multiplication. So if you notice, I put it in parentheses because you're going to have to distribute that negative. So anything on the bottom in the end, anything on the bottom should have a subtraction sign in front of it. Anything on the top should have a positive, should be positive. Bring down your power, distribute your negative, and then simplify. And what simplify means is the reason I put this line right here is not a division line. It's taking you back over here. So log of 100 means log base 10 of 100. If I set it equal to y and I solve it, log 10 to what power is 100? So y is 2. So that's why I can have a 2 right here. Okay, the next one. So log of the top, natural log of the top minus natural log of the bottom. Okay, expand your division, or excuse me, expand your multiplication with addition. So that's why these two are added together. Bring down your powers. So the 1/2 power is because we can rewrite a root as a square root as y to the 1/2 power. Bring down your powers. So natural log of e plus 1/2 natural log of y minus 3 natural log of z. And then we can simplify. So natural log of e, if you remember, natural log of e means log base e of e. And when your base is the same as what you're taking the log of, remember it's equivalent to 1. So that's where the 1 is coming from. Now, if we condense, that means we are going back, we're going the other direction. So first of all, you want to bring up your powers. If you have them, you want to add, you want to take addition back to multiplication. You want to take subtraction back to division. Rewrite it as a single log. So log and then whatever you have, and then simplify as needed. So here, the first one, we brought our powers back up. So we brought our 2 back up and our 3 back up. Then we condensed our multiplication right here. So with addition goes back to multiplication. And then with subtraction goes back to division. And then we want to look to see, is there anything on the top and the bottom that I can simplify? And there's not. Okay, the next one, bring your powers back up. So bring the 2 back up, the 1/2 back up. It's addition, so addition condenses with multiplication. So you have your x, natural log of x squared, x plus y to the 1/2, and then simplify. So you have natural log of x squared, square root of x plus 4. Never leave it as a fractional exponent. Okay, the next one, I forgot to bring that 2 power down at the end, so please forgive me. But first of all, you want to bring your powers back up. So there's a power, bring your 3 back up. You want to condense your addition first back to multiplication. So your first 2 comes back with multiplication. And then your subtraction condenses back to division. So again, at the end, you should have one single log, and all of these are base 5, so you should have log base 5. Now, simplify. So to simplify this one, remember that I can factor x squared minus 4 into x plus 2x minus 2, and then y cubed. And then on the bottom, x minus 2 squared means x minus 2 times x minus 2. So I can eliminate one of those x minus 2's, and I'm left with x plus 2 y cubed over x minus 2. So that's condensing, and we'll see condensing later in the week as we solve. Okay, the last thing I want to look at is how these work on your calculator. So on the right-hand side, you have 2 calculator buttons that we've been working with, and so we've been working with the second. We've done e to the x, and we've done we haven't done 10 to the x, but e to the x. And so what your log button is on your calculator is it's only base 10. So if you have a base 10 number, you can evaluate that. If you have the natural log button, only evaluates base e. Okay, so what happens if you're not base 10 or base e? This is when you're going to use your this formula, and this is the change of base formula. So it's log base b of x. So this is how you evaluate this, log base b of x. So it's log of x divided by log of your base. Or you can do natural log. It doesn't matter which one you do. or natural log of x divided by natural log of your base. You're going to get the same answer whether you use log or natural log. Just make sure that you have the same on the top and the bottom. And do not cancel the logs and do not cancel the natural logs. Okay, so one thing to note, if you're make sure if your calculator opens a parentheses that you close it. So down here, when you calculate these, you have log base 8 of 75. So log of 75 divided by log of 8. So if your calculator opens a parentheses right here, make sure you close it before you press the division sign, okay, or you'll get a totally different answer. So be sure to try these on your calculator that you have at home. And the way I remember this formula is the base is always on the bottom, base on bottom. So that's how I always remember it. So this is for your change of base formula. It's when you have non-base 10 and non-base E. Okay, if you have base 10 or base E, you're just using your calculator function. Okay. And then there is some homework to look at. Again, you have access to the ebook through WebAssign. Make sure you're looking at notes. Make sure you're looking at videos. You will have one quiz this week, but it will not be assigned till Friday. So I hope you have a good week, and please reach out if you have questions.